Welcome to Ciao Bella, hosted by me, Erica Firpo, a travel journalist based in Rome. Each episode of Ciao Bella, I sit down with Italy's creators, contemporary artists and artisans, designers, culinary experts, heritage brands, and innovative aesthetes, and more who are defining and redefining 21st century Italy. Pull up a chair and join in. Welcome back to Ciao Bella. Today I'm really excited to have my friend Gaia Passi de Preposulo with me. And I say that extra long, but I'm going to give you guys a little hint. I call her Gaia PDP, just to make it easier on my tongue. Hey, Gaia, nice to talk to you.
Hi, Erica. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited to have you here with me today. Gaia, for everyone.
Thank you.
Just to introduce Gaia a little bit, I'm going to give a brief introduction, and then I am going to let you give a little bit more. But Gaia is a journalist, and she writes for Vogue Italia, AD Italia, La Repubblica, and she's the founder of this I love the name of your company. It's called Eccetera. So Gaia, do you want to give a little bit more on who you are?
Yes, sure. Eccetera, that means etc. of course, is a studio which is specialized in brand journalism, content creation, copy, and actually everything that is related to words. I founded it a few months ago with two other journalists, and our motto is words matter. That's because we really think that words are important in our life. So I'm based in Milan. I've lived here for more than 15 years now. But I come from Veneto region, so I also love my hometown very much, which is Treviso, and where my family lives in ancient Villa Veneta. So I have two homes, I would say, Milan and Treviso.
Well, I'm really interested in talking with you about Treviso, but in particular, I'm really interested in talking with you about tiramisu.
Sure.
So when I was thinking about interviewing Gaia, I thought I wanted to talk with Gaia about food, and not because she's a food journalist, because she's a lifestyle journalist, but because I know that Gaia is really passionate about everything she does. But I thought I asked Gaia, I said, what kind of treats do you like? And she mentioned tiramisu, and I said, yes, let's talk about it, because that's the last dessert I'd ever order.
I'm trying to convince you to try it again after our interview.
Exactly. Well, that's what this episode's all about. So at the end of the episode, I'm going to be convinced. So let's talk a little bit about tiramisu. I know that, in Italian, tiramisu means pull me up or pick me up. Can you tell me a little bit more about the history?
Yes, sure. So first of all, tiramisu comes from my hometown, that is Treviso. So we are all very proud about this. It's probably the most popular Italian dessert, I would say, and it has a really funny story, because they said that tiramisu originated in Treviso in 19th century, and it was invented by maîtresse. Can we say that? It's the right word. A maîtresse of a house of pleasure.
We might just call her also a madam as well.
A madam of a house of pleasure in the city center of Treviso, that invented this dessert that was aphrodisiac, and also helped the clients to recuperate strength after love, I would say. So the idea was that they could go home after being in this house of pleasure, and still stay with their wives, basically. So
So pick me up is literally like, hey,
yes,
we're going to give you a little extra oomph for when you return home.
Exactly. And also because all the ingredients are very full, very strong, full of calories, because we have eggs, sugars, ladyfinger biscuits, mascarpone, coffee, and cocoa. So they are all ingredients that help you be strong and have a lot of energy, I would say. So this is the legend. Of course, we cannot be sure 100% that that really happened, but the legend, it's like this. And then in the 80s, like 1980s, the recipe for the first time was like invented and added to a restaurant in Treviso, which is called Le Beccherie.
In the 1980s. Wow, it took that long.
Yeah, because I think there was this cake that as not a proper recipe, was more like they made it at home, maybe was in the tradition. But the first time that the recipe was added to a restaurant, entered in a restaurant, was in the 1980s. And also in the 1980s, it's the first time when we find it in some books, basically. And yeah, it's not very old, right? I would have thought like it was like 100 centuries old, but it's just
me too.
The proper recipe is just like 35 years old, basically, almost 40. And the creator, the inventor, is Roberto Linguanotto, who was the pastry chef of this restaurant, Le Beccherie in Treviso. So this is the official history, although there are some debate, and because also Friuli Venezia Giulia region claim to have invented the tiramisu. So we have some debate, but I would say that the most famous history, and the one we know and we support, of course, is this one I just told you.
Now, I have a quick question. Ladyfinger biscuits, in Italian, what are they called?
Savoiardi.
Savoiardi, right. And is that the only kind of biscuit that you can make tiramisu with? Is that the best kind?
That's the traditional recipe. We also have a lot of variation, to be honest. Especially some people uses the sponge cake instead of ladyfingers. And also, it's very popular to use Pavesini biscuits. Do you know them?
They're like I know Pavesini. I buy Pavesini, but I would not know what goes into a tiramisu, which biscuit to use, mainly because, as I said, I run away from tiramisu, but I love Pavesini biscuits.
Yeah, but many people I know, they use the Pavesini, even if I think they are a bit too sweet, and the texture is a bit different. So I am a traditionalist, so I always make tiramisu with the original recipe. But actually, you can do some variations.
Well, what do you love about tiramisu?
Actually, I love the flavor because I think there is a good balance between the sweetness of the cream and the bitterness of coffee and cocoa. But I also love the texture, which is soft and very it's a comfort food, crazy. I love it. And also I love it because it reminds me of my birthdays when I was a child, because my mom used to make it all the time. It is one of her specialty. So
really?
I really like, it's something that makes me feel home, I would say. So I learned the recipe from her, and now I do it at home as well. But we have also an extra, like a secret ingredient that my mom always adds, and I do it as well. And it's a little bit of rum in the mascarpone cream.
Okay. Can you explain to me how one would make? Because I know it's like layers of stuff.
Yeah, actually, yes. The cream is made with the red of the eggs.
The yellow of the eggs, yeah.
Yellow, yes.
In Italian, it's the red, yeah.
Yeah, tuorlo, and mixed with sugar. And you shake it with the mixer. How do you say fruste elettriche?
With like an electric whisk or a blend, like an electric mixer. Yes.
Yeah, with electric mixer. until it becomes like a cream, like light yellow. And then you add the mascarpone, a lot of mascarpone. And also here, the classic recipe is with mascarpone, but then there are some variation like ricotta cheese or some other different kind of cheese. But I always use mascarpone, of course. And then at the end, you mix the white of the eggs until they become white, like montare a neve, very... Mm-hmm. And then you add the white of the eggs at the end, very slowly.
So you mix the egg white separately?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
You separate them, and then you mix the yellow with the sugar, and you mix the white on their own until they become like a snow white.
Yeah, like a little mound of like a little mountain of snow. Yeah.
Exactly. And you add them only at the very end to the cream. And then we add, my mom and I don't know, maybe other people too, but we always add a little bit of rum because we think that it makes the cream less sweet. So I think you would really like it because it doesn't change the flavor, but it gives a little more like strength. Nice. And I really love it. Sorry, just to finish the recipe, you do layers with savoiardi, ladyfingers, dipped into coffee, the mocha coffee. You make a big mocha. You mix the coffee with a little bit of milk, and then you dip the ladyfingers in it until they become a bit soft, and then you do a layer with it. A layer with the cream, another layer of biscuits, another layer of cream, and then on top, then it's better to put it in the fridge for a while and to add the cocoa only at the very end before you serve it. I would do it like this, but I mean that's
now, Does your mom make it for you all the time, or is it only on special occasions?
No, it's more on special occasion. We don't usually make like sweets all the time, like regularly during the week, but it's more like a birthday or some special occasion, I would say. Yes.
It's funny. I think the reason why I have not always enjoyed, I've never appreciated tiramisu is because it gets too soaked. And I know, and I think that's harder for me when the cookies are like mosho,
Yeah.
But I think that also might be because it's been I've been to places, maybe it's been sitting around for a while. Or maybe it was just, maybe they didn't add the rum, because it's definitely been real. And I like sweet, but I've had it so sweet. So I think that's sort of why I've run away from it. But I've noticed, and we were talking earlier before I started recording, was that, now it's like tiramisu has become like kind of cool and popular, and there is a little shop in Rome, and you were mentioning that there's a shop in Milan.
Yes, they call it like tiramisu boutique, and it's called Mascarpa, and it's very popular.
What kind of, I am like you. I am a traditionalist, so I wouldn't even notice if there were other kinds of tiramisu. But what other kinds of tiramisu could there be?
I've seen many different of them, like with whatever ingredient, like pistachio, Nutella, like also strawberry. Or blueberries. I know you can make it with many different flavors, but it's still tiramisu. But I think that the ingredient makes the tiramisu what it really is. So if you change them too much, I'm not sure the result is pretty much the same. So I would stick to the original one. But I think that in the tiramisu, in the pastry, it's always like this. But the balance between ingredients, it's very, very important. Because if you, for example, use too much cream, then it becomes too sweet. And that's probably what you don't like. But I don't like it either when it's too sweet. So I like it when there is quite a lot of coffee, a little bit of rum, and the right amount of cocoa on it, because then it's not too sweet and the cream is not too strong. But I mean, that's my personal taste, of course. But I think that's the right way to do it.
You know what I think is amazing is I think tiramisu is one of those desserts that is like it's global. Everybody knows all about
Yeah.
tiramisu.
And also, the funny thing is that in Italy, probably every person would tell you that the best tiramisu is the one his mom made, or grandma or
Exactly.
grandma. So everyone has his recipe, and it's absolutely sure that that's the best in the world. So
It's like everybody's a tiramisu expert, or their mom is.
yeah, absolutely.
But I just think it's fascinating that a recipe that came out of the tiny, because Treviso is it's not one of the bigger towns. It's a charming town, but it's not this monstrous town, and and then this recipe
Oh,
traveled all over the world. You
yeah,
know,
it's incredible, really, because you think, as we were saying before, you would think that tiramisu has been there forever, basically, and then you discover that the actual recipe, it's just few decades old. That's really really weird.
do they ever have contests like tiramisu contests? I'm wondering.
Yeah, I'm sure they have. I'm not. I mean, I don't know of any of them actually, but I think that in these days, like maybe this week, La Cucina Italiana has launched the challenge on tiramisu, because they are
Really?
doing this. Yes, they are doing this La ricetta che unisce challenge on the social, and they basically ask the readers to make their own recipe, the same, and to post it on the social. And I think this week the recipe was tiramisu. So
Oh, I'm gonna have to take a look at that.
I'm sure
I did.
I'm sure
I
many
was
people tried it. Sorry.
what? No, no, sorry. I was just gonna say that when it was Carbonara Day, my husband and I did the Carbonara Day challenge. I would love. I should try to do the tiramisu challenge, especially because I would have no idea what I'm making.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's not. It's really easy to make tiramisu. To be honest, it's not too long. So, I mean, just give it a try, and probably you'll be surprised.
okay, as we were talking, I googled tiramisu day and Treviso, and there is an official day.
Yeah, it's in March, right?
No, it actually okay in Treviso it was October 6th. So
Okay, I didn't even know that.
unless it was just a contest day, but apparently it's a thing. I mean,
Yeah.
it is. So I challenge everybody who's listening um, to come up with a tiramisu recipe and then send it to me and Gaia. So now,
Yes, please.
so now's the part of where I want you, Gaia, to share with everyone how they can find you. And I do want to say one thing that I about finding Gaia is that if you do follow her on Instagram, she does some of the coolest stuff with words that I love. Like last week when you asked everyone to share some of their favorite words, like that, it's like you're a girl after my own heart. So
Thank you. So yes, you can find me on Instagram. My personal account is Gaia_PDP, as you were mentioned before, and the account of Etc. My studio is etc.studio, and there is where we talk about words all the time and do some funny challenges.
I think that I'm going to share all of this on my post. So I'll have a post on my website for this
Okay.
podcast episode, and I'll have all links to Etc. Studio, the website, so you can see what they do, to the Instagram account where you can follow people sharing amazing words, and then to Gaia. Gaia, you also were doing with a friend of yours. Are you still doing the Latin words?
Oh yes, that was a like one time game. It was very funny with a friend, Giulia Valentina, who is a very very nice friend of me, and she's also an influencer. And she do like magic English. She usually explain English words to people, and so we did this Latin versus English thing where we tried to translate the most popular Latin, how do you say, like proverbi, like
Proverb.
Yeah, proverb. We translated it into English, but the Latin proverb that we still use in Italy, that they are still popular in Italy. It was very, very funny. I would say we should go on and find more.
You should. So I'm gonna challenge you right now. I'm gonna ask you two questions. What is your favorite word in English?
My favorite word in English? Oh my God. I don't know. I think I use all the time like actually.
I do too.
And it's nice because it's also a false friend, because it's not the corresponding word in Italian. It has another meaning. Attualmente is different from actually. It has a completely different meaning. So I like it because it's a false friend. I'd say that.
Okay, and then what's your favorite word in Italian? Because I told you mine last week, so I want to know yours.
One of my favorite, I have many to be honest, it's arzigogolato. That is like all words to say complicate. And I think the sound is very, very nice. And also the meaning, I love it. Of course,
Wait.
Arzigogolato.
Oh my God, that's great. I've never heard that, and now I'm gonna have to use that. I'm gonna figure out a way in which I can use
it. Of course.
Well, Gaia, I'm so happy that I had the chance to speak with you. And the next time I see you, if you're in Rome, I'm going to take you to the tiramisu place. And when I come to Milan,
please.
You're going to make me tiramisu.
I will. I hope I have convinced you to give it another try.
Well, you said the magic word when you said that you added rum to make the mascarpone less sweet.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this could be it.
That's a game changer.
All right, I'm ready for the game changer. I am.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ciao Bella. If you'd like to know more about today's guest, please visit ciaobella.co and click on the podcast link, or go directly to ciaobella.co/podcast. Want more Italy? You can find all my episodes on iTunes and Spotify and Stitcher. When you have time, subscribe to iTunes and rate the podcast. What are you waiting for? And if you want to be part of the podcast, email me or DM me your Italy questions. To learn more about me and my work, go to my website, ericafirpo.com, and follow my Italy adventures on Instagram at ericafirpo. Ciao, Bella! And a very big thank you and hug to Massimiliano Yonta and Disc to Disc Studios, the producers of Ciao Bella, who continue to make me sound and feel great.